July 22nd, 2026 board meeting with the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners will now come to order. Time is 10:00 a.m. Don, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. James Ainsworth,
Present.
Mr. Darren Black,
Present.
Mr. Milton Gutierrez,
Present.
Mr. William Clark,
Here.
Mr. Thomas Rice Jr.,
Here.
Ms. Norma Yato,
Present.
Mr. Dave Yelovich,
We've had him on a second ago, but yeah.
and Mr. Thomas McDonald.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Right. Next item is to excuse absent board members. I think we're all here, so we can skip over that unless Dave doesn't manage to get back on.
He's coming back here.
He is, okay.
He said he's coming
Then
back.
we can skip over that. And I guess the next item would be to recognize Lisa to introduce me.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Lisa Hill. I'm the executive director. And it's sad news to lose Mr. Denton, but it's great news that we got an existing board member, Justin McDonald, to be with us. He knows us. He's been instrumental in several of our activities prior to taking the board seat. And staff's glad to have him, and I'm sure the public will feel the same. And I know he's got a lot of good experience in commercial industries and commercial building. And so far, so good. He's jumped right in, and I'm just thrilled. And I'm sure you'll feel the same way. So welcome, Justin. Glad to have you at your first board meeting.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Glad to be here. I don't have any real remarks to give at this point. The first thing that I got asked is, well, what are my priorities as the incoming board chair? And frankly, my priorities are to keep doing what we're doing. We've been improving our customer service. We've been improving our ability to get people through the licensing process, the examination process. And so I just want to keep us doing that. We've been cracking down on unlicensed activity, which I want to see us continue to do. And other than that, we just need to keep on keeping on. So with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is discussion and possible action on a resolution to recognize the outstanding service of former chairman Frank Denton to the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. We've got a resolution here in the frame, I believe. I'll go ahead and read this out loud. Board resolution, whereas the Honorable Frank S. Denton of Conroe, Texas was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott on December 9th, 2020, later confirmed by the Senate to serve as public member and chair of the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. Whereas Mr. Denton discharged the duties of his office faithfully with distinction and with personal sacrifice through May 5th, 2026, contributing freely of his knowledge, sound judgment, and considerable skill to the benefit of his fellow board members, the agency, and the citizens of the state of Texas. Whereas the members of the board are grateful for the opportunity to have served alongside him and for the lasting example he set in leadership, public service, and stewardship of the agency's mission. And whereas throughout his tenure, Chairman Denton championed initiatives that strengthen the plumbing industry in Texas by advancing workforce development, broadening pathways into the plumbing profession, and fostering key partnerships that expanded opportunity while upholding the highest standards of public health and safety. Now therefore be it resolved that the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners hereby recognizes and commends Frank S. Denton for his exemplary and distinguished service as chair of the board. Be it further resolved that the board extends its sincere appreciation for his leadership, integrity, judgment, and lasting contributions to the board, the agency, the plumbing profession, and the people of the state of Texas. I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ainsworth, second by Mr. Buck. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can we get
Frank, you want to come up here?
a picture, y'all?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, you want to say a few words?
You know, the only thing I'd say, there's some people in the audience who might want to question that knowledge and sound judgment. No, I'm already homesick. I really miss being here. And the party comment I want to make to the board and the agency is this. The governor had a press conference about, I guess, a month ago, and he had all these people that he has appointed to a workforce task force. And he outlined for them exactly what he wanted them to do to help build the building trade. And if you will go back and listen to that, and pay attention, it is a verbatim copy of what this agency has done in the last 4 years. We've built relationships with other agencies. We've eliminated barriers to entry and have embraced education as a key going forward. And that's the same charge that the governor gave that workforce commission to do for other agencies. I don't know about Lisa, but nobody called me and said, thanks for what you did from the governor's office. But I think if you take a look at it, it is identical to what the board and the agency has done the past 4 years. So thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you, Dave. I have to say, Frank set the bar pretty high as the chair of this board, so I've got a big reputation to live up to. You left some mighty big boots to fill, Frank. Thank you. All right, moving on, the next item is Executive Director's remarks, discussion and possible action, including but not limited to possible town hall meeting dates, 2026 initiatives, including renovation goals for the TSBPE headquarters by the Texas Facilities Commission, possible headquarters open house, and annual continuing education conference plan. Lisa.
Thank you, sir. I do want to say that we still anticipate having a full-on open house. However, we just recently got our new set of restrooms released back there. And we're working on some other areas that still need to be prettied up, so to speak, and organized. As of yesterday, I still found a box I needed to unpack, and I know there's more hidden boxes, so we want to be we're fully functional, but we want to look organized. I guess that's what I'm looking for. So once we get that date down, we will plaster it all over the website. But we are in the process of pinning down a date to have a continuing education conference in Waco again. They're so gracious as to let us use their facility, so we're kind of excited about that, and that'll go up on the website too. And we hope to have all the providers, all the instructors all together. It will be a very large conference, and I'm sure a board member or two might want to go to that too. So we're very excited about the things that are coming up. And I've got another item. I'll talk a little bit more about other renovations within the building whenever I get to that item in our let's see, in our exceptional items that we'll be looking at later on. Does anyone have questions of me or? Okay. Can I move on to number 8?
Sure.
Okay. The digital license that we've been talking about, we're actually gonna get to test it, we believe, this next month. We have some of the updates on it, and we've prepared for that transition. And the transition to a digital license, it'll really take about a year to go all the way through the licensees. Not everyone is gonna be excited about it. I think the majority of them will enjoy it because it'll be a quick way to just carry it on your phone. You'll still be able to get a plastic card. Plastic card's not gonna go away, but it'll be a fast way once you renew that you'll get that right on your phone, and you could save it and have it available. So we hope to do some testing on that very soon. We're excited about it. And our payment of penalties online, which will streamline staff's work, as far as posting and collecting of penalties. I suspect we're out to probably late January to February on that portion as well. It's gotten pushed out a little bit because the system has to talk to Versa, our database, and it also has to talk to the comptroller, and it has to talk to us, so, we had a couple of little snags, but we think we've got those worked out, so we're still really excited about it, and we're working with, the tech people, just every day, there's something that, we need to look at or answer, because we want it to be a smooth, streamlined process for both items. Those are two big IT projects, expensive IT projects, but, I think everybody will find it to be handy and faster, and we get a lot of people that unfortunately, they're like, can I just pay my penalty online with a credit card? It's coming. We're getting there. And we've had a lot of other states have been experimenting with digital license cards as well. It's kind of like whenever you put your credit card and make it in, put it in your electronic wallet or whatever, you'll have it there. So there'll be some kinks to work out, but we're still excited. Big projects. Dawn has a lot of free time just to spend on those projects. And the further we get down the road, the better it'll be. And that's really all I have on that.
Any questions for Lisa on that?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Lisa, once that's incorporated and for the plumbing inspectors in every municipality, are they gonna be willing to accept the digital license over the card?
They will need to, and we intend to send it out to them with information on how to tell that it's real and those kind of
So
things.
there's no action needed by the board in order to be able to?
I don't think so. We could probably put a little something in a rule if we wanted to, that they would accept it. And we may want to look at that. Lynn and I could look that over and see what would be the best way to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Not a bad idea. But of course, they know it's coming. We've talked to inspectors about it too. But it's like anything else. We need to be able to help them understand what's real and what's not. Unfortunately, there are people selling fake license cards, plastic cards, so, kind of a catch-22, but we'll certainly look at that. That's a good idea.
Good point. Anybody else? All right, thanks, Lisa. All right, at this point, we'll move into our rulemaking item number 9, discussion and possible action to publish a proposed amendment to the existing rule at 22 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 367.2, to update the codes adopted under the authority of Texas Occupations Code, Section 1301.255, to the 2021 Uniform Plumbing Code and 2021 International Plumbing Code. Lynn?
Thank you. Again, Lynn Latone, General Counsel. This is a rule amendment, and we are asking today for permission from the board to publish for 30 days of public comment a rule amendment updating the codes to the 2021 UPC and IPC. Staff has researched what code versions are most commonly used in jurisdictions of Texas, and it's been concluded that the 2021 is the most commonly used. As such, staff is recommending an update to the 2021 codes. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Have we considered, on doing an amendment or a provision, on adopting this code, regards to, Senate Bill 8 that went into effect to December the 8th, or this past December? And this is having to do with facilities or use facilities where it's all gender.
I'm sorry, I don't know what Senate Bill 8 is at this. off the
It
top of my
has to
head.
do with, the state, passed that for certain facilities, multi or all gender is not allowed. And this is having to do probably like universities and, government buildings. The UPC and the IPC, is allowing it everywhere. But the Senate bill, it addresses that it's not allowed in certain buildings. So I don't know if we want to adopt the complete code for both the IPC and the UPC, or, if it conflicts with, Senate Bill 8.
Well, that's certainly something that we can open up when we start addressing our public comment. As far as the agency is concerned, this was just our time to update the codes.
Okay.
The existing code was the 2018, and this was simply the considerations that brought this to the table was simply to bring it up to codes that have been adopted largely across the state of Texas.
And to be clear, you mentioned this, but this is just to post for public comment in the Texas Register. It's not actually adopting the rule yet at this time.
That's correct. That's correct. And to remind everybody of the process, after we publish this amendment in the Texas Register for 30 days of public comment, we come back to a meeting after that where all the comment is considered. And then the board will have the efforts to decide whether they want to move forward with the rule amendment, they want to change the rule amendment, whatever they want to do in response to comment.
I had a comment down here. Sorry I couldn't be there today, Mr. Chairman, but you fill the screen nicely. Thank you for being there. I think as a code person, the things that Senate Bill 8 is addressing is mainly for newer codes, the 24 and then upcoming in the 27. So it wouldn't apply to the 21. But my other question would be, is we're talking about the 21 in 2026. Is it just tradition that we're always about 2 code cycles behind? Or should we be talking about the 24 code? Because in just a few months, the 2027 codes will hit the street and they'll be pushing those soon. So I'm just curious, what is our traditional lag time between the current code and what we adopt and enforce?
And I kick that off, and I think Lisa will come in behind me. So we actually discussed as a staff going to the 2024, and ultimately that's what we discussed before we took a survey of what most jurisdictions or municipalities are using right now. And when we inventoried those, we found that, most everyone was using the 2021. So to be consistent across jurisdictions, to create administrative regularity, we said, let's go to the 2021. We can always go up after that. And that we landed on the 2021. But you raise a good point. It is something to discuss.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I mean, we're gonna be 6 years behind real soon. I mean, why wouldn't we just jump to the 24? And then, because I know where I came from, there's usually one code behind is the cities on their adoption. Because, nobody had time to go through and mark up the current, but I kind of think it might be, I mean, I guess we could do this and then the first of the year we can do it again, but you're gonna have to publish it twice.
The majority
I can
of,
speak on behalf of our reference to the municipality, I do work for a municipality. And what our practice is that we always skip a cycle, just like Mr. Ainsworth was saying, it gives us time to catch up to the code. So we always tend to skip a cycle that we went from the 2018 and now we're in the 2024. And that gave us time. Now in the 2021, that's when it was addressed that going back to the multi-use facilities, that's when it came into play in 2021. 2024, it carried over to 2024. Even though we adopted the 2024, we didn't make any amendments at the time because when we adopted it, it was prior to it being when the state adopted the 2021. So we had done our adoption before that. So we didn't do any amendments. And that's the reason that I'm bringing it up, that if we are considering any amendment or provisions to whatever code we adopt, be it the 21 to the 24, are we going to consider any provisions to that for the municipalities that have adopted the 21 or the 24?
Yeah, could we say the 21 and the 24?
You want to consider adopting both?
Yes, whichever that municipality's using.
Well,
based on the study that we did, the majority of the municipalities are still on the 21. And it's because they do have that lag time because they have work to do to catch up in the code body and review and make amendments. but there are several that have already jumped to the 24. And, you know, every time the code comes out, we do reviews on it for the exam because it's just a constant running cycle. But as far as if someone says, I'm gonna go put the plumbing in an area out here that doesn't have any jurisdiction, and I choose this code, that's what they would say. Okay, I'm gonna choose 21, and that's what they have in their pocket right now. And they're gonna install it to that particular.
I agree. I mean, this is the code for which we're gonna examine, and I'm working in about 12 municipalities now, that 9 of them are on 2021.
Okay.
So that's, I think that they did the homework, and
Okay.
it's the most commonly used right now. It might change next year. But, I work in 2 municipalities that change every code, every time a code comes out for the first adopter, so it's really hard as a treatment to keep up with, but the most common is 2021.
Any other comments?
I move we publish a proposed amendment to existing Rule 22, Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 367.2, to update codes, financial conservation codes, the 2021 Uniform Plumbing Code, and 2021 International Plumbing Code.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ainsworth, second by Mr. Rice. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. All right, motion carries. All right, the next item we've got is, item number 10, discussion and possible action to adopt the Artificial Intelligence System Code of Ethics as promulgated by the Texas Department of Information Resources and Texas Administrative Code 219.11 in compliance with Texas Government Code 2054. I'll turn that over to Lynn and Kevin to discuss a little more.
Thank you, Lillitown General Counsel. And again, it's described in the posting item under the government code. Every Texas state agency is required to adopt the AI code of ethics as promulgated by the Texas Department of Information Resources. If you're unfamiliar with who they are, they're the state agency that provides IT services and informs IT practices to state agencies, institutions of higher education, various government entities. They have written the AI code of ethics. In fact, they have promulgated it in their rule at Texas Administrative Code 219.11, and that's in your materials. This is a code of ethics, and we are asking y'all to adopt it as a policy adoption. It's not going to be a rule effort for us, but as a policy adoption, and it's going to inform our AI practices when we write our HR manual, use practices, for whatever we do with AI. We're going to make sure that we're in compliance with whatever directives the government code has given us and whatever DIR has informed us we need to do. And again, we are asking you guys to adopt it as required under government code 2054702C, which is also in your materials, as a policy for the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners.
Kevin, anything to add?
No, I think that was great. The only thing I can add is that we also created an internal policy for staff based on this code of ethics. So if you'd like to see that, we can show that to you as well. But Lynn said everything perfectly.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
Hey, I just had a quick question for Kevin. Kevin, after reading that, the infamous Ask Kevin, would anything have to change, or is there anything that goes awry from those policies that they lay out?
No, because we use an external host, everything is protected according to DIR standards. So we're good to go with Ask Kevin.
Good. I like Ask Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, do I hear a motion to adopt the Artificial Intelligence Code of Ethics promulgated by Texas DIR under TAC 219.11? Who is that? Motion by Mr. Black, second by Mr. Gutierrez. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, Lisa, discussion on Partners in Preparedness Disaster Preparedness Initiative, website posting and reporting, including coordination with the governor and lieutenant governor's office and other state agencies.
The governor, regularly sends out announcements about their preparedness, and our liaison to the governor's office had reached back out to us, and we furnished them some information as far as our readiness should there be a disaster. And this comes up during hurricane season, fire season, flood season, and what we've done is we've just reached back out to everybody and make sure everyone's prepared as need be. But we have the ability to waive CE should the unfortunate event knock out facilities for people to take CE in. We also have what the governor gave us last time, which is once he declares a disaster, we can do an emergency license, 30-day short license. And should they need extra assistance for people coming from other states or whatever, to help rebuild. We've had the field investigators out checking in areas as it deemed safe. And a lot of people down south, anybody that drove up, they hadn't recovered from the last time, and now they've gotten hit again. And there's houses that have had to be repiped, redone. We've also continued to issue quite a few licenses, reciprocity through Arkansas and Louisiana. So we're prepared to assist as need be. And Kevin's putting together a little thing for our website. And once before, we worked closely with TDM, and Kevin got our Find a Plumber working again as well. So you can put a zip code in and get a list of plumbers in a particular area. So, and we did talk to Mr. Patrick Michaels over at the governor's office, and Don relayed back to him some information we have as far as reaching out to groups of plumbers and things like that. So let's hope we don't need any extras, but if we've got them, if we need them, we got a way to get them. So.
Good. And we used that 30-day emergency license not too long ago, didn't we? Did we enact that?
We actually haven't had to, it's based on the governor issuing a declaration of disaster, and we have not issued any of them as of yet. But we continue to issue the reciprocity through Louisiana, because unfortunately, of course, there's a storm headed there now. Louisiana and Texas end up having to help each other to recover right there along the coastline. So we can go either way.
Well, and I definitely appreciate the field inspectors being on top of it too. I remember last year, right after the floods in Kerrville, I was downtown helping clean out my wife and I's business, and happened to look out the window and see a TSBPE truck go by. I ran out waving like a crazy person. They probably thought I was a crazy person. They didn't recognize you. That's okay. But it was good to see him in the area checking things out.
Thank you, and we would continue to do that. As it's safe, we go out and just look around. Unfortunately, there's those people that go out and they're determined to make money off of disasters and people's hardships, and they have no licenses, no nothing.
Yeah, I've already seen a bunch this last week since the last round of flooding. Well, that also ties in with item 12, discussion and report of the Always Hire a Licensed Plumber campaign. That.
Yes, sir, I will. The Always Hire a Licensed Plumber campaign, we've used this saying for quite some time. We even put it on our box truck that we can load up and drive around, take for show and tell once we get enough staff and enough time to do it. But if anybody has any time, you can drive all the way around, see the truck that's out there. We also have it up on our website, and we have a bumper sticker coming out that we did a survey on. There it is. And everybody is so excited. They want this bumper sticker and they're coming. It takes a little bit of time for us to get them printed and the artwork over. And we can thank Kevin for artwork. Thank you, Kevin. And we also did a survey to see who liked which color. So we were 50-50. We ended up getting both colors. But if you'll remember previously, we had bought, and gave to new licensees, the round stickers, that related to always hire a licensed plumber. If we had the kind of money that I wish we had, I wish I had a billboard that said that, but, we also do a lot of show and tell, and when the field investigators are out in the areas, you know, they can show citizens what the licenses look like and that sort of thing. And hopefully we get back after the first of the year, where we can go out to some of the community events and say, you know, this is why you hire a licensed plumber. And hiring a licensed plumber is pretty important, and not to throw anybody under the bus, but there was a recent incident down in Beaumont, and it was a licensed plumber that figured out what was going on down there. With some contamination of water. So all that education, all that experience, it pays off in the long run. It's big bucks. And we certainly want everybody to know why it's important to use a licensed plumber. We're not shy about it.
Moving on to the executive director's report.
Oh my gosh. Look at the number of licenses we have. Total, and bear in mind, this was ran May 31st. We're trying to get back to running our numbers in quarters so that it coincides with our entry into a database that has performance measures. And so we're finally settled down after the move and everything. But as of May 31st, there were 103,379. Did I say? Yeah. All right, let me turn around this way. Yeah. 103,379 licenses that we handle. And that's not people, that's licenses. But out of that, you're looking at over 74,000 licensees. And I can tell you, when I came here, there wasn't 25,000 warm bodies that we licensed. And we have worked very hard from May to, and we'll continue to work hard. So it'll be May, June, July, and August, which is our final quarter, to wrap everything up. We've been running examinees through here. We've been getting fingerprints done. We've been getting a lot of work done. So I expect we will close the year out on a very high note. And I think one of the things that reflects that, and Dan will be here in a little bit, is just our revenue being up. So a lot going on. And as you recall, last year we got the authority to allow for the master examination license for a 2-year holding of the journeyman rather than the 4-year in the DOL. So at 2 years, I'm gonna tell you, the day that they go over that 2 years, they're putting their master application in and they want to get an exam. And the turnaround on that examination is super fast. If you submit everything that you need to submit, your driver's license and all your ducks are in a row, and you've had your continuing education and your journeyman license is current, you can put an application in, and I guarantee you within 3 days, 5 days at the most, you'll be getting your email. You can set up and pick your date at 45 different locations around the state and take that master exam. And if you pass it, so be it. And you're gonna be in one of those, and look at the master number, 13,537. That is the most master plumbers we have ever had. But the number of plumbing companies that are operated by those master plumbers is now over 9,000, 9,288. That's how many plumbing companies we have in the state of Texas. How long those will last, I don't know. Sometimes it's not always greener on the other side of the fence. It's a hard road running your own business, but they're excited. They're taking the exam. They're doing well, and there's lots of work in Texas. And you know, we just got the governor's report about how many jobs and things that are going on in Texas. We continue to get people from every state in the union and they want to come here. And we welcome them. You know, we welcome to Texas, Happy Plumbing, come on in. And we get them licensed if they qualify. So big numbers, I expect bigger numbers to continue the end of the fiscal year. So staff needs a big pat on the back because we've been pretty doggone busy. Of course, adding some extra staff, adding help, that is key to producing these applications, getting items reviewed, doing the fingerprints, so on and so forth. And I was rolling all that into one actually, but getting new staff, I want to touch on that part right now. And before I do that, I've got 2 interns here too. And we are so glad to have interns. They're in our legal department. And, stand up, interns. You make sure, we should have where to go. Sophia and, Kartika. And so we're glad to have them, and I think we get to keep them through the end of July, so that makes a big difference. We have some more people that we've added in customer service. We have a permit, and you can sit back down. I just didn't want you to blend in with the company. We have a new person in examination, Maha, and she is our permit specialist. She has an engineering background. And she has been instrumental in helping GW just be able to breathe. We've had so much going on and GW has physically done so much just to try to get us up and running when we're moving, getting the exam center put back together. And so we have Maha. She got started 2 months now, something like that. Anyway, she's picked it up, learned it great, and we are so happy to have her. And we also added a maintenance person, which is AJ. And AJ's busy right now. I'd run him through here too. But I'm gonna tell you, you won't find a scrap piece of pipe laying on that floor to trip over out there, or a piece of trash. He is on it. And I mean, he can move furniture, pick up stuff, unload the delivery trucks. He keeps the cars rolling, and it's just so wonderful to have an extra body. You know, somebody that likes it and wants to jump in and help. But the good news is, I gotta take a drink before I this. This is important.
Please hold.
The good news is that we will welcome August 3rd, a new field investigator, and a new examiner for here. Daniel will be joining us here. And Trent will be joining us in San Antonio area, South Texas, in the field department. And right now I am waiting on, I haven't got the other one yet. And anyway, we have a person that already works for the state. We're working out some dual employment that no one knows how to set up, but it's okay to do in the new CAP system. So we should have another person that's gonna be 3/4 time at least in Waco. That will be like a maintenance, help person. And so they desperately need that. And I have an interview Friday, for an examiner that will be in Waco. So we will finally maybe have 3 examiners in Waco again. So a lot of stuff going on. But we are very excited about getting staff. It just makes all the difference in the world. We continue to do a tremendous amount of staff training. We've got people going to contract and higher level type stuff for purchasing right now. We have Lynn's been to her CE in training, and she went to some, which I haven't had the full report on yet, but it was some contractor information, legal stuff, and that kind of rolls over into what we're looking at with our contractors and subcontractors, and she got her CE at the same time, so we're always trying to do some dual purpose there. When we can afford it, we want staff to go get any kind of training they can get. Any questions?
Sure.
We're talking.
Wait a second, wait. So does that bring us up to full staffing on field reps?
No.
How many would still miss?
3, I believe. Really need 3 more. I have one other position that's gonna be back here, but you know, the person that was, I think I announced that, the person that was in Austin, Terry, he retired too, so that was my Austin person, so I'm gonna be putting a person back in Austin. And kind of rearranging some of the duties in enforcement. And I'd love to have 3 more, I'd like to have 10 more. I mean, we're still run about, 1,000 complaints a year. And trying to do job site compliance check and that sort of stuff, so. It's a great job. We've pushed the money up about as high as we can get it right now. I'm not opposed to, the trying to raise it some other level, that and the examiner's vote. And it might be more enticing, but plumbers are making pretty good bucks right now. It's hard to talk them into jumping the fence.
Our vehicles are air conditioned.
And that exam center will be fully air conditioned soon. So yes, lots going on, but I'll take more people all the time. We continue to get some folks that have graduated out of the HATS program. I think we've got 2 more. The high school accelerated training program, we mark them as HATS, that using that acronym so we can kind of track them and see what they're doing. We have 2 coming next week, I think, for exams. We'll see how they do. They passed their written and they're coming for the practical. No pressure there whatsoever. There's 3 of them coming from one school, but 2 of them are coming on the same day, so I know they're gonna feel some pressure. But, I think they'll be well trained, they'll be fine. And we've got, I've got a few other, coming out of one of the other programs, not Tyler, I got another school coming, I'm sorry, I just went blank on that. But we continue to do that, and what I hope is that we see an influx when school starts again of, a new group signing up. And as a reminder, that, when we designate them with that little, tag, it waives their fee. There's no fee, and we're able to track them, we're able to see what they're doing, and we're able to make sure that they stay current. Because a lot of them have summer jobs, so I expect that I had some that were in programs, their first year of program in high school, that went out and did summer jobs with plumbers. And so this next year, whenever they complete, they ought to be great. Or they've learned what they don't want to do. I don't know what to say. With this heat, they may change their mind, but we're excited about it. We continue to, work with the schools. Ooh. Exam department report. This I definitely, didn't skip over one. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost, skipped over the customer service. Here it is. Every 2 years, we do this massive customer service survey. And it goes out to anybody that we've done business with throughout the last 2 years. It goes out to people that have filed complaints, people that have been the focus of a complaint, respondents, licensees, apprentices, the public. They're on our list of complainants, people that have had a record request, anybody we do business with. It's just a wide assortment of people. And with the, of course, for years, we did this in a paper fashion where we had to count them and put them on a spreadsheet and everything else. And with the website, Kevin's smart brain over there, we got it up and running, and it's great to have it these last 4 years. doing it electronically. So it's really a time saver. But the one thing that we do get from the customer service survey, we get ideas of things that people would like to see, you know, better changed or whatever. And one of the things they always want is everything better and faster. And as we get staff, it's better and faster. But remarkably, we've got a lot of really nice comments, and I got some wonderful comments to the customer service survey on staff individually and as a group. So I was really pleased with the way the customer service survey came out. And it's also part of, we do it as part of our strategic plan. So we submit this along with our strategic plan and as a separate document. And it's available for anybody to read if they want to. But I was real thrilled with the outcome of it. So the strategic plan, and I'm gonna jump off. Well, I'll talk about strategic plan when we get there, but anyway, it's actually part of that too. But I was happy with the results. I couldn't find anything, there's always some negatives, and anything that we can make adjustments for, we do, but most of the negatives are easily fixed. But I want to say, as far as the number of customers that we have served this entire year, not just in our survey, our survey was a controlled group, so to speak, of each license type, as I described. But since we've been in this building, we track the number of people that come in every day. And since we've been in this building from September to today, or to yesterday, we've served 4,379 people that have walked through this building. That's a lot of people. We are one of the few agencies that still have walk-in real people. And as long as I can keep it that way, I'm gonna keep it that way. I think it makes us unique. I think it makes us efficient and productive. There's some things you just need a real person for. And we still have real people that answer the phone. We love Ask Kevin, and it's helpful. But we pride ourselves on individual help as well. But over 4,000 people walking through that front door, that's quite a few. And Wendy will attest to every one of them that is came through there. So she keeps track of it. We actually bought a counter so that when somebody walks in, we can start counting them because we have so many people. And we had a lot of contractors for this year too, but it's not uncommon for 200 people to walk through the door. Every year. Every day. Shall I go on and do the exam department report? I
Sure.
should get that done and.
Go ahead.
Let me see. I know everyone wants to hear about that and I want to tell them that anyway. And so. I don't want anybody to get tired of listening to you here. Oh my goodness. I have, let's talk about the pending exam since we're kind of in that mode. Right now. Excuse me. As of, well, I had 830. As of May 31st, we ran the pending number of exams to see where we're at because we're constantly watching it roll through to know where we're at and what we're producing. There were 830 pending or total scheduled exams. Okay, 830 that are pending exams. They're scheduled. They just haven't taken the exam yet. Okay, and that was May 31st. So. And you gotta remember, a lot of people, and we stress this over and over, and it's in the instructions, and it's in multiple places. It's their responsibility to schedule their exam. We no longer schedule it unless you're an inspector or you're taking, fire sprinkler. You pick your day, you get your email, you sign up, you pick your day, and you show up. And unfortunately, you do have quite a few people, And I expected it during the summertime. We had, out of that 830, we had 270 people that rescheduled different days. So it's a constant, it's a wheel going all the time. But from when I ran these numbers, May 31st, to collect up to May 31st, there was the 830. Well, so quite a few of those up into this day or yesterday have taken the exam, but then so many more have came in and scheduled. So you still got 796 that are scheduled right now. I mean, it's just a constant. Whatever you take off, there's more coming in, and they're going as fast as we can go. There's one day I think we had over 30 master exam applications come in on one day. July 4th weekend was big, I guess. The people that didn't go out or stayed home, or by the time they rested, they sat down at the computer and went, I'm gonna apply for an exam. So, tons of stuff going on, just a lot of stuff going on. But I'll tell you this, out of the journeyman practical right now, there's 197 that are scheduled, there's 63 retests that are scheduled. There's 89 journeymen right now that need to go take their written, and let's hope that all 89 of them pass. But master, 185 of them are scheduled. I'm gonna tell you, there were so many people trying to schedule that master exam that they filled up Pearson. And when we originally estimated to Pearson, they're like, oh, no problem, we can always add some sites on. But they got really full. Normally you could pick it in a day or two. And it's about 5-6 days out now. So, popular exam, what can I say? There's 64 tradesmen practicals that are scheduled. We continue to run about 10 per day in Waco, 8 to 10 per day. Middle of the road, we have a little bit of downtime. People don't like to come on Wednesdays, but Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays, we typically have 8 to 10 in Waco. We have 12 to 14 here, and that's all we can fit right now because we're unable to finish our expansion. And we'll talk about that some more in a bit. But if anybody has any questions about that, please feel free to let me know. I also put in the book the make sure I put it in there. What's the second page? They're stuck together. The breakdown of the pass fail, and we'll give this out to everybody if they want to look at it. We'll do something for the providers so that they can share it with the plumbers. We're gonna try to get back now that we have an automated report, which we've been working on for a while, to get Versa and Pearson talking to each other like we want them to talk to each other. But right now, think about this. I ran these numbers May 31st. Yeah, May 31st. So up to May 31st, we've given 7,000 exams. And that's a lot of exams. Well, by the end of the year, and bear in mind also, we had 3 months of downtime. And we are still, we will meet or exceed what we did last time. We'll be close to 9,000 to 10,000 probably by the time it's all said and done. But it's everything we can do to keep up. And that's why it's so important that we continue to add people and continue to get just the right people on staff. And as we've worked hard on getting those people, I mean, you can really tell the difference. Really excited about that. But 7,000 exams, that's a lot of exams. And I was gonna say on the journeyman written, they're getting really prepared, or I don't know what they're doing, but they're studying really hard because they do not want to fail that written examination. So it's up in the high 80s now of them passing. That's the highest I've ever had it. We'll see. Now the tradesman written is they're hovering a little below the journeyman right at 80%. we'll see how it all pans out. We stay between 75, 77. So hopefully they're doing a lot of studying. And I have it all mapped out there if anyone has any other questions, but,
I do.
okay.
Looking at the first time takers, I think that 73% pass rate is pretty much what we've been since I've been around. I think I'm shocked at the repeaters of how high the fail rate is. Is there, anybody have any reason?
They are they're so in such a hurry to get in here. And I think sometimes they get here and GW can attest to this too. I think sometimes they get here and there's a lot more to it than what they realized on that practical exam. And maybe they studied and they studied the general questions and things like that, and they did okay on the written, and then they get here, they have a little bit of trouble. It's still not uncommon for someone to come in, tradesman and journeyman, and get in the practical and stand there and stare at the house and finally just give up.
52 on the journeyman record, you got a 52% failure on the repeats.
Yeah.
It's just kind of I'm not being critical of the exam or the people taking it.
No.
It's just an interesting statistic.
I think you have there's a group of people. There's a group of people that, some people quit school because they had to take care of their families. They did the best they could.
Okay.
And then you've got some people that are still in school that have gotten a great deal of written knowledge. Maybe they're gonna struggle more because they didn't stay outside.
Okay.
And I don't know, there's like these 3 or 4 different groups. But the miracle of the situation, the beauty of the situation is that there's some really tough people, and maybe they didn't get trained as well out in
Well, that's gonna be my next question.
the industry.
I'm sure you see a big difference in the people that have been through the training programs.
Sure. And sometimes, but you've got some people that they've been thrown out there and they may struggle 2 or 3 times, but whenever they finally get it, they get it. And they may be great tradesmen or journeymen or craftsmen, and they just, they needed 2 or 3 shots at it. And then the light goes off and they come that last time and they put it all together.
Okay.
So it's a learning curve. I don't like to take tests anymore either, so.
Lisa, do we have knowledge of the amount of test takers that go through a prep class as opposed to those that don't, and those that do, what their pass rate completion would be compared to the ones that don't?
We don't track the prep classes because they're not required. We have some general knowledge of, they'll tell us whenever they do their sign-in sheets, we kind of ask them because we're curious. And they'll say, oh, I took a prep course. I think there's a lot more masters that are taking prep courses than anything. Because really and truly, if you've taken if you took the 10-hour commercial and you took the 8-hour residential classes, that's preparation right there. And if you've been out on the truck for a while, you should be prepared. Now, the masters, sometimes they've been out there long enough, or maybe they're in a big hurry, but sometimes they need it because they might not be as well-rounded as they need to be to take the exam. Don't have a real accurate way to track who takes them. It would be a manual.
I'd be curious to know
manual
that
thing.
too.
I can tell you that my 2 most recent hires are from TSTC Waco. We have for their internship semester, kids are sharp. I've got Emmanuel Lopez, Houston, and Franco Gomez, and we're from Dallas Fort. These kids are going to pass it. I'd be surprised if they didn't make 100. Just sort of little apprentice training programs that we do, and these kids their hands are up for every question, and they're hard workers and they're very, very prepared.
That is good to know.
I mean, they've had almost 2 years of in-class knowledge and trade experience. They've already done the shop work portion more times than I did it in my entire life, and they're just now getting their, you know, their internship. They're prepared.
That's great.
These kids are showing up prepared, so that probably is not.
I've had the opportunity to go through down there at Waco. It is really, really impressive. They do such a wonderful job.
I agree. I went to to their shop in Abilene too, and I was just blown away. I was like, man, this is,
Something like that, when I was prepared.
Yeah, me
yeah.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
So shit in that ditch.
Hop in the
I
truck.
I can't recall his name, but the thing that impressed me most, the guy that does the instruction in Waco,
Jimmy?
Jimmy, first thing he says to me is, I'm not gonna teach these kids how to take your test, I'm gonna teach them how to plumb. And I was so impressed with that.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, people talk about it being a preparation class. You should be going there for a training class, you know, a learning class, not preparation to take anything. It's a study course. And you've got somebody helping you to study. So I think that's the difference in preparation.
And also
learning in the
there's-
classroom.
It's not just classroom, they have lots of hands-on,
Yeah,
they have forms set up outside and they have people putting in soil pipe. All the time, it's crazy.
I'll tell you what, it's all GW and I can do is keep from building a sandbox back there.
Well, you have the room now.
Not exactly.
Think that.
No, but I got a good spot for it. I got my eye on it. Can I answer any other exam questions? We're just blowing and going here. We're pretty excited, so. I expect things to just keep moving right along and, and we'll just keep going after it as fast as we can. Shall I, if there's no questions on that, should I go ahead and do the enforcement report?
We've been going just over an hour. Why don't we take a quick break? Let you, recover from talking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let everybody, you know, go check their email, whatever they need to do. So it's, 3 past right now. Let's, recess until 11:15. Before we go into the enforcement report, unless there's objection, I would like to go ahead and skip forward to item 19, public comment. I know we've got some folks here in the audience and online and, that would like to speak. And so, rather than make them wait till the end of the meeting, I'd like to go ahead and let them speak now if there's not an objection. All right. Don, will you please, call the first person?
Yes, Mr. Douglas McAfee.
You just stand there.
Yeah, if you don't mind standing up, just so that the microphones see.
Thank y'all for having me and posting. Appreciate all the work y'all do. My name is Doug McAfee. I work for Mr. Curtin. I'm also a licensed master and inspector. I want to thank y'all for everything y'all done and where we're going with this. I really am appreciative of, and I'm really looking forward to where the new facilities are and everything else. Glad to have you at the helm, Mr. McDonald. No offense to Mr. Denton. Glad to see a familiar face. As an instructor, I interact with a lot of students on a weekly basis, day in, day out. And we have been watching the whole virtual licensing thing off and on a little bit. Overall, for discussion, the majority of our students would like to keep the cards. And I understand the world's evolving in technology, but they just would like the cards in the area. More and more of the plumbers are actually going old school. They're actually wearing their cards to service calls now to set themselves apart from the handyman or non-licensed people. So that's part of the hire a licensed plumber thing. It's that extra ounce of thing. Also, Louisiana House Bill 953 and what just happened and where it's going. We've already been there in 2019. I'd kind of like to, it's kind of worrying me and want to keep it on the forefront. I really don't want to see Texas become Louisiana. We don't eat roadkill and no trip. So if we, and that's all. And I want to thank y'all for your time and everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, next.
Okay, the next person is Mr. Jeff Labrowski. He's online.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak at all. It kind of threw me in there when I was registered.
Oh.
Thank you for being on.
Good job, carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Mata, Senior Director of Field Services for the Admiral Group and Chairman of the Texas Plum Stakeholders Group. I want to speak on items 8 and 9 if I can, and I know Mr. McAfee said on the pocket card, I'm glad you're keeping the pocket card because I believe they are important in addition to the register. My question on that would be, there are some plumbers that are from the old school that the digital, are they going to be sent like through the email? Is that how they're going to get them or how they get them? Because there are some plumbers out there that still have flip phones. You know, I'm just putting it out there. There's some that aren't going to change. You're not going to do it. So I didn't know how y'all are going to do that, but that's just one of the, yeah. So, okay. And of course, on the other question is number 9 on the codes. I agree with you, Mr. Ainsworth. Our codes right now, the Uniform Plumbing and Mechanical Code, are already out in the 27s. And, so 27 is not even here yet. So, yeah, we're going to be 2 code cycles behind. But I agree with what staff said. A lot of the municipalities we do work with are under the 21s and currently looking at the 24s. So, I guess we'll have to cross that when we get there. I do want to give thanks to Mr. Frank Denton. Been a pleasure working with you. Been a real good honor. And I tell you what, anything we can do from the industry, please feel free to call on us, and we appreciate it. And the last thing I want to talk about is 953 in Louisiana. We were very instrumental in that group. We actually created a coalition with the industry, and we thought we had that bill where we wanted to. In May, unfortunately, that amendment did not pass. But one of the things that we are looking at is the fact that they are still going to keep their same standardized tests that they have. That's not going to change, the hands-on and the written. So they believe from what they've told us, and I actually testified on there on reciprocity. Thank you, Mr. Netton and Lisa, for all the help you gave us and background on that. But they feel that they have a plumbing shortage. They feel that a lot of the plumbing board and what they have right now is antiquated. And they, of course, these are the same things that we heard back, those of you remember back in 2019 when they told us after Hurricane Harvey. But like we told them back then, after any natural disaster, everybody has a shortage. And 6 months later, we're all back to square one. So we hope that it doesn't come over here. We have fielded a numerous number of calls from our Texas stakeholders and just in general saying it's happening to us. But we're fighters. That's what we plumbers are. And we appreciate all the board and all your backing that y'all always been with us. So, Mr. McDonald, thank you for being the chairman. We look forward to working with you, and anything we can do from a stakeholder standpoint, please feel free to call on us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next.
Mr. Joseph, I don't want to butcher your name, Sayoni.
Me? Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Yes.
All right. I have a question about a complaint I had filed, number 2026-00230. Long story short, 2 contractors, unlicensed, did work on my property. Went until later on, I found out they were unlicensed, and I filed a complaint. And I was told that they did fine Richard Clayton Parker. I was told it was like $1,500 total. But the other person, Austin Carter, they've been unsuccessful in trying to track him down, so therefore they're closing the case. So my thing is, if y'all can't find a person or they don't return your call, they just walk free. And then the one that was penalized, $1,500, that's not much of a disincentive. and they both live at the exact same address. I know what happened. Y'all got a hold of one of them, so he told the other one, "Don't ever return this call." And they walk free. And I asked, "Well, what happens if they don't pay?" "Well, then we won't renew their license." Well, what do they care? They don't have a license anyways. And if they act without a license knowingly, that's a violation of Texas Occupational Code 1301-351. Y'all could file misdemeanor criminal charges against them. Do y'all ever do that?
Fortunately, because of the Open Meetings Act requirements, we're not able as a board to respond to your comments, sir, but I have written them down and taken note, and we can discuss that with staff offline.
Yeah,
Lisa,
that's fair enough.
You can,
I'll be happy to have a
okay, if
conversation.
you want to contact our executive director, Lisa Hill, she can speak to you about that offline.
I'll do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next.
Mr. Roger Borgia.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm actually here on one of the enforcement cases for Mr. Nichols, so that might be the more appropriate time for me to speak. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Mr. John Bunker.
Bunker, can you hear us? Go ahead. See you unmuted. Bear with us as we navigate our technology.
Mr. He's unmuted.
Yeah.
Mr. Bunker?
Mr. Bunker, are you there? Let's come back to him. Maybe he's got an audio issue.
He said he's talking.
Okay.
He's texting me.
If Mr. Bunker, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you. So you might need to check your microphone under your audio settings on your end.
Yeah.
You're showing unmuted on our side. So we'll come back to him at the end. Give him a chance to work through that. Next person.
That's all I have.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jonathan Killebrew. I registered to vote. I registered to speak.
Okay, Mr. Kilburn.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Kilburn.
Sure, I'm unmuted. Okay. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jonathan Killebrew. I'm a master code professional, a licensed plumbing inspector, and I'm also the owner of Metro Code, a third-party plan review and inspection company operating in Texas. Today, I'm asking the board to consider modernizing its rules governing third-party plumbing inspectors, particularly the requirement that an inspector be affiliated with each municipality in which that inspector performs inspections. Third-party inspections are not independent individuals operating without supervision. They work for qualified inspection companies with established management, quality control procedures, insurance, and professional accountability. Within our company, for example, the building official provides oversight, assigns inspectors, reviews difficult code issues, verifies qualifications, and is ultimately responsible for the quality and consistency of those companies' inspections. The current affiliation process does not fully recognize this structure in Texas. It treats each individual inspector's relationship with each municipality as the primary relationship, even though the inspector is employed and supervised by the third-party inspection company. This creates an unnecessary administrative problem without improving public safety. Third-party inspectors may serve numerous municipalities, and every time an inspector begins or ends work in a jurisdiction, affiliation records must be updated at the state level. Inspector pocket cards and licensing documents have been emailed to city offices where the inspectors are not employees. These documents may sit unopened, misplaced, and may never reach the inspector, as we've seen many, many times. Companies and cities are then forced to develop workarounds simply to keep qualified inspectors properly documented. I respectfully ask the board to recognize how third-party inspections actually operate. Our inspectors are employed, supervised, and held accountable by third-party companies, not by each city we serve. The company's building official oversees the work and responsibility for ensuring those inspections are performed consistently, professionally, and in accordance with state law and applicable local codes. The rule should allow an inspector to be affiliated with a qualified third-party inspection company without requiring a separate affiliation with every municipality in which the inspector works. This would preserve accountability while removing an unnecessary administrative burden that does not improve public safety. Ultimately, my vision is to see third-party inspections across Texas. That way, proper plumbing inspectors can work across the state of Texas and surge resources to those locations that are needed most in a timely and efficient manner. The board should also require that pocket cards and other licensing documents be sent directly to the license holder or to the inspector's authorized actual employer, not to a random municipality that does not actually employ that individual. These changes would not weaken accountability. They would place accountability where it actually exists, with the licensed inspector, the third-party company, and the building official responsible for that oversight. Third-party inspectors help municipalities address staffing shortages, provide timely inspections, and keep construction moving while maintaining code compliance. The board's role should support that work through a clear, practical, and modern regulation framework. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Killebrew, and thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I have one more, Mr. Scott Lavelle.
Scott Lavelle. Actually, the meeting, are we on?
I don't see him in the meeting anymore.
Okay.
I think I got mine fixed.
Is that Mr. Bunker? Yes.
Yes.
Great, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you for the opportunity to say something. I'm currently a hat teacher in Woodville, Texas, and I just kind of wanted to, just say a couple things about the class, what we're doing. I am striving to ensure that in the little bit of time that I have my students, understanding what it takes to be a plumber and all of the experience that you really need. I'm really pushing my students to understand for sure new construction. I'm working with cast iron pipe, not so much hub and spigot, but no hub. We're working with copper, PEX. We got a little bit of time to do a lot, and so it's pretty challenging. But I really feel like I'm that we're trying to really give these kids some kind of on-the-job experience, because obviously they're going to be, if they pass their exam, they're going to be tradesmen, licensed plumbers, and there'll be expectations from on the field. And so I've tried to explain these things to them as well. I just wanted to kind of share some of that, what we're trying to do there in the high school area. Some of the challenges that we face, or that I'm facing, is the funding being there for high schools. I know that they got that grant, but it only lasts for so long, and it's difficult to get students to grasp what they can do as a plumber. And I mean, they're kids, and so a lot of it goes over their head. Even if you talk to them about money, they don't get it. But I have had some success, and we had the first plumber in the state of Texas, the first student out of the HAT program in the state of Texas to pass his exam. and he is now working for Local 68 in Houston, and I think he's doing a good job as far as I know. I had 3 graduate this year, and they are also well, 2 of them are going into the military. But I got one that is going to be also starting with Local 68. He's got his application in. He has passed his written, passed his practical, but he did not pass his dollhouse. I'm just sharing this with you. It's too much information. Forgive me. I did want to say that one of the things that I struggle with is finding companies that are able to work students like over the summer, getting them involved. I think as this gets more popular, hopefully, if it doesn't just phase out, that perhaps more plumbers will be ready to get on board with things like that. I'm in the process of trying to get a advisory committee, if you will, of local plumbers in our area, to get them on board and get some ideas from them on ways that we can do it. We are ending the program in Woodville. The funding is not there because I don't have enough students interested in the program. They need more than 3 or 4 students to justify paying me and having the class. So we are moving to what is called Deep East Texas College and Career, and it's located in Jasper, and it's about 30 miles from Woodville, but I've agreed to do it, and we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. This is a more central area. I'll be able to get students from other districts as well, and so I think that will help. I do want to put a word in for John Mata and thank him. He's been very helpful. IAPMO, I think, is a great resource. It's been a great resource for me. The way that they break it down, and they have some hard copy, and they also have online PDF stuff. They have teachers' guides, study guides. These are great resources that I'm utilizing to build my lessons. I just kind of want to. Yeah, go ahead. You have any questions? Yeah.
3-minute limit, and you've gone over time.
Okay,
so
great.
please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Nice job. All right, is there anybody else on?
That's it.
Okay. That will end the public comment portion, and we will then jump back in our agenda to the Enforcement Department report. Lisa.
Thanks, sir.
Hopefully you got a chance to give your voice a break.
We'll consider that other thing. I wanted to talk about our field activities just for a quick moment. We have been to the Building Professional Institute around the state of Texas. They have several different code classes and organizations and groups, and the field department has been out and visited with some of those. And some of our one of our education people also went with to Gerald High School not too terribly long ago. So we've got all these ongoing projects, and up and coming, we have a APHCC conference we're going to attend. And typically myself and a board member, and when I have enough staff, I'll take one staff member. So we're going to be organizing that real soon. They've got lots to do and a little bit of time. And of course, with the areas I mentioned earlier, we're probably going to do some of those area checks as well. The summary of complaint cases and administrative penalties imposed is contained there in your in your book. We continue to review and do as many as we can. The total number of complaint cases that we reviewed since the last board meeting, which, March through May, we did, 82 that got, and they had penalties issued for a variety of things, contracting, evading responsibility, code violations, and that sort of thing. In addition, we have had a tremendous amount of, let me make sure it's on here. Yeah, okay, we've had a tremendous amount of applications to review. We had 187 that needed to be reviewed. 118 of those were able to be reviewed. In addition, we had 18 that provided false information during that period of time. And the false information people, somehow they forgot that they had a felony conviction. And so we had to issue penalties as well. Been pretty busy in that respect. We're turning over applications and reviews fairly quickly. We added a person in that department, so we've got two people kind of working off each other. One can get it ready on the front end, the other one does the detail and the reviews. We're getting through fingerprints. Just tell the truth and we'll get them reviewed and get them done where we can. But a lot of work, 187 different applications, and those are all, you know, every one of them's different, so every single one of them has to be looked at. In addition, we have a very long list of 53637 different cease and desist that were issued, and some of those cease and desist orders or notices were sent out in addition to a penalty. So if a person was unlicensed, they may well have gotten a cease and desist, and they may be on the board order of agreed settlement penalties as well. And the cease and desist is an immediate notice for them to stop, and it works best on an individual that's unlicensed. Because if they are found to be a repeat violator, you've got that previous notice to fall back on. So we're pretty liberal with it. I mean, it'd work the same on either the licensee or the unlicensed, but we want to make sure we leave no stone unturned when it comes to the unlicensed people. You also have there with you the board order of the administrative penalties, and if you look on this particular order, these are all the orders that people have agreed to, or the notices of penalty that they've agreed to. Settlement was made, it's agreed, they paid. They don't go on this order until they have completely paid their administrative penalty. And you'll notice this time too, you had a couple that, I think we marked them clearly, had a couple that also had some restitution that were involved in them. Part of their agreed settlement was to pay a reduced penalty and do some type of restitution back to the homeowner or the consumer that brought the complaint to us in the first place. So I think it's important whenever we can never make them whole probably, but they got a little bit of something. And or they were able to, in the case of one recently, I won't mention who it was or what it was, but recently they were able to get that money back that they'd already spent on something that didn't get repaired and get someone else that could repair it. So it worked out, and it's always nice when a consumer can get something worked out, and when we get in the middle of it and kind of facilitate that, it's good. And they agree to it, and it's a done deal. We also included, and this order does require some action on the part of the board, by the way, and the cease and desist don't. Also included a long list of previous violators. And as a reminder, the previous violators that are, and those should be licensed or unlicensed, their penalties very easily can increase with each violation of a similar nature. So we prepared this for your review, but we also always look like versatile whenever we're getting to do some type of, penalty. In other words, if you hadn't got the message the first time, you might get it better the second time. We'll see. Anyone have any questions of me?
Any questions for Lisa? All right, if not, in tab 9, you've got the board order of administrative penalties paid by agreement. Is there a motion to adopt the orders for administrative penalties paid by agreement? Second by Mr. Ainsworth, second by Mr. Rice. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion passed.
And may I add, could we, the board consider having the chairman sign the orders on behalf of the board? If you'd like to do that, then I'd like a motion for the board chair to sign on behalf of the board on all the enforcement actions.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Yelovich, second by Mr. Ainsworth. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. Now we're moving on to the default final orders. So did you have anything to go over on that?
Well, I'll defer to Lynn on those. We got them all done, boys.
Listed in front of you, a few people are coming off of the list, which I think, they had contacted the agency and they're trying to work out their issues. Mr. Marquez, Mr. Byers, the board will consider, adopting the final orders on the default order schedule with the exception of Mr. Marquez and Mr. Byers.
I hear a motion to adopt the final orders on the default orders reflected on the default order schedule, with the exception of Charles Byers and Felix Marquez. So moved. Motion by Mr. Gutierrez. Second by Mr. Black. All right, second by Mr. Black. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. All right. So that moves us to our contested cases that have been heard by the State Office of Administrative Hearings. Parties and the prosecutor will each have 5 minutes for presentation, 3 minutes for rebuttal at the board's discretion. We'll start first with the case on Justin Stewart. Is Mr. Stewart here, or any member or anyone representing Mr. Stewart here who wishes to speak? Is there anybody online, Bill?
No one is saying anything.
Chair McDonald, our enforcement attorney, actually Norman is here to present the case.
Okay,
Hi,
go ahead.
you want me to just stand here and talk about? the
Yes,
case?
that'll work great.
Very well. Mr. Stewart was issued a $7,500 administrative penalty, broken down as follows. $2,000 for advertising to perform or provide plumbing without the services of an RMP, and $5,000 for contracting or otherwise offering to perform plumbing without securing the services of the RMP. Following a contested case hearing at the State Office of Administrative Hearings, the ALJ, Administrative Law Judge, recommended that the $7,500 in administrative penalties be assessed as provided, and then notice of alleged violation, and that the board assessed an additional administrative penalty of $1,530 based on Mr. Stewart's continued advertising of plumbing services for a span of 153 days after being issued a cease and desist order by the executive director, for a total penalty of $9,030. The circumstances of the case are as follows. Mr. Stewart is a non-plumber handyman who advertised for plumbing services using a business account on the social media platform Nextdoor. At hearing, he asserted that he had been a plumber's apprentice sometime around 2008, but he confirmed that he lacked any current apprentice registration or license. At hearing, he did not dispute that he had failed to secure the services of an RMP for his Nextdoor venture, which read at varying times, Justo Stew Plumbing and Handyman, and Justo Stew. That next door page described the Justo Stew services as plumbing, and Mr. Stewart's social media post therein asserted that he had been plumbing for 17 years. A TSBPE field investigator operating in an undercover capacity texted the contact number on Mr. Stewart's Nextdoor webpage and solicited a quote from him of $2,000 for the replacement of a 40-gallon gas water heater. After that sting operation, Mr. Stewart was issued a notice of alleged violation and a cease and desist order from the TSBPE's executive director. On Nextdoor, Mr. Stewart then removed the reference to plumbing for 17 years from his personal post, and he changed the business name to Justo Stew. However, the body of the webpage continued to reference his plumbing services. At hearing, Mr. Stewart asserted that he couldn't help that the page's summary of his services was like it was because it was auto-generated from the comments of all of his customers, these Nextdoor users. A few days after the hearing, Mr. Stewart forwarded an email to me, to TSBPE, showing that he had finally reached out to Nextdoor and confirming that they were and did take down the business page. That information was forwarded to the ALJ, and that date formed the cutoff for the accrual of continuing violation penalties. Do you have any questions that I could answer?
Any questions from the board? All right, in the interest of fairness, one last call as Mr. Stewart or his representative here in wishing to speak. All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to decide this case? And Lynn, just to clarify, the motion would be to either adopt the ALJ's recommendation or
To adopt, if you wish to accept the proposal from the administrative law judge, it would be to adopt the PFD as written.
Okay, thank you. What is their motion? A motion in favor by Mr. Rice. Your second? Second. I heard Mr. Ainsworth first, second by Mr. Ainsworth. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of adoption of the PFD as written, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Oh, do we need to do a roll call vote? Sorry.
It was unanimous.
It's unanimous. Okay. Moving on to the next case is Edgar Sanchez. Is Mr. Sanchez here or anyone representing Mr. Sanchez?
No one is.
Nobody signed in? All right, Ms. Norman.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sanchez appealed the denial of his apprentice registration based on criminal conviction history. Specifically, the denial was based on his 2012 conviction for first-degree murder. Following a contested case hearing at the State Office of Administrative Hearings, the ALJ recommended that the board deny issuing the registration at this time. Circumstances of that case are as follows. Mr. Sanchez, who was 25 years old at the time of the crime, was in attendance at a party when the victim, Mr. Ivan Castillo, caused a disruption and brandished a weapon. Rather than calling the authorities, Mr. Sanchez and two other individuals went to the victim's home where they beat and shot Mr. Castillo and his brother, and Mr. Castillo died from those injuries. Mr. Sanchez pled nolo contendere and was sentenced to a 20-year term. He was paroled in 2023 and will remain on parole until 2031. During his time in prison, Mr. Sanchez took rehabilitative courses. At hearing, he asserted that he was employed by Dynamic Systems, Inc., a mechanical contractor. He provided letters of recommendation, referring to me from persons that worked there, from another construction company where he said he had worked, and from the Fort Worth Pipe Trades Training Center, as well as a person reference. The law judge concluded that the evidence of rehabilitation simply did not overcome the seriousness of the offense, Mr. Sanchez's conduct in committing the offense, and the recency of his release from incarceration. Anybody have any questions?
Questions from the board? If not, is there a motion regarding this case?
Make the motion. That the, in favor of all business.
Okay, motion by Mr. Black to accept the PFD. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Unanimous. All right, moving on then to, Mark Nichols. Is Mr. Nichols or his representative here?
Your Honor, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm here, Roger Borgelt, on behalf of Mr. Nichols.
Okay. Who goes first? Sorry.
Ms. Norman will
Okay.
tee up the case.
Ms. Norman, go ahead and make your presentation, and then we'll hear from Mr. Borgelt.
Certainly. Mr. Nichols appeals the denial of his apprentice registration based on criminal conviction history, specifically based on his 2014 court-martial conviction for receipt and possession of child pornography. Following a contested case hearing at the State Office of Administrative Hearings, the ALJ recommends that the board deny issuing the registration at this time. The circumstances of the case are as follows. Mr. Nichols was 24 years old and a lance corporal in the Marines at the time of the crime, which consisted of receiving on 3 different dates pornographic images and videos of girls aged 10 to 14, which he downloaded onto his phone and onto a laptop computer. Mr. Nichols was court-martialed in 2014 and pled guilty to violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He was sentenced to 3 years confinement in the Naval Consolidated Brig with all but 18 months suspended. He was paroled in 2016. He has and will continue to be listed in Texas's sex offender registry for the remainder of his life. At hearing, the law judge seemed to be moved by Mr. Nichols' testimony that when he first received the child pornography, he considered but declined to alert authorities or anyone concerning his receipt of it, such that his conduct in accepting later transmissions was willful and not born of mistake or misunderstanding. Additionally, the law judge gave way to portions of Mr. Nichols' hearing testimony, where he claimed the offense occurred because he had been addicted to erotica and pornography at the time, and that he still, in present time, struggles with the desire to watch what he called regular porn. Yet he has never sought any treatment, either during or after incarceration, to address that behavior. Mr. Nichols provided character references, but he did not introduce any letters of testimony from any employer or potential employer with knowledge of his prior conviction. In fact, some of his character witnesses were misinformed about the nature of his prior conviction. The law judge concluded that the evidence of Mr. Nichols' current fitness for licensure did not overcome the seriousness of his offense, the lack of rehabilitation and rehabilitative efforts, and the absence of letters of recommendation from employers. So, and any questions? I need to go to.
Questions from the board? All right. Mr. Borgelt. Please.
Thank you, Chairman. First and foremost, Mr. Nichols, since his sincere regrets for not being able to be here, he had planned to attend by Zoom also, but is working as a water mitigation technician and was called to a job in which he desperately needs to have this job. And so he had to do what his employer told him to do, which was to go to work. That being said, the first thing I want to address, which the judge seemed to give a great deal of weight to, and I think this whole thing is not necessarily about what the evidence is, but how much weight it's given, the lack of recommendations from employers. Because of his conviction and sex offender registration, Mr. Nichols understandably has a very hard time finding a job. And if he goes to a current employer and asks for a letter of recommendation for a new type of job, he very seriously risks losing that job, which is something that he can ill afford to do. This was all evidence at the hearing, and the judge did reference it, but I don't think that it was given quite the weight that it should, because the judge seems to be relying on the fact that fairly heavily on the fact that there were no letters of recommendation from his employer. Also, I think his age, he admittedly was 24 years old, a very immature, I would say, 24-year-old when he committed this offense. It is the only offense on his record. He's completed his probation. He's been completely clean since then, and it was 13 years ago. So I think that the fact that he's been able to stay clean, maintain relatively strong gainful employment, as well as a lot of volunteer work, which there was abundant testimony about that also at the hearing. He's widely praised by the folks who testified on his behalf and sent letters for the volunteer work that he's done. And I think that more weight should be given to that, and more to his age and the time since this one offense occurred. Obviously, it was a stupid mistake that he made as a 24-year-old. He hasn't repeated it, and we are hoping, Mr. Chairman and Board, that you will take into consideration these things, and not just the lack of recommendation letters. I should also add that he was evaluated by a licensed professional counselor. This is also in evidence and shown to have a very low risk for sexual offense recidivism and a low risk to commit future criminal acts. And this is in the proposal for decision. In fact, 7% low risk for recidivism and 12% for future criminal acts. This is in the proposal for decision. So the fact that he's not had treatment sort of makes sense, because he's considered to be a very low risk by the health professionals for even having any type of future offense. So I would hope that you would take all of this into consideration. Mr. Nichols did not need to have a scarlet letter on his back for the rest of his life for this one mistake, and we would ask that you modify the proposal for decision and grant him his apprentice license, give him a chance to get into this profession and show what a good person he has turned out to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Borgel. Are there any questions from the board? Any rebuttal from the prosecutor?
Yes, thank you. Actually, my recollection of his testimony at hearing was that Mr. Nichols didn't have a letter from the employer because he was concerned about not having enough hours, and he didn't want his employer to think he was looking for another job. As for him being 24 years old, he was tried as an adult. That argument was addressed in the exceptions that we briefed to the ALJ. Each side put in arguments. As regards his volunteer work, well, his character witnesses that he does volunteer work with were some of the ones that were surprised to learn of. They knew he had a criminal conviction. They just didn't necessarily know the nature of it. And as for the report from the licensed evaluator, I dare say that information that at least that person was not available to provide testimony at hearing. Just reading within the four corners of the information that was contained within that report, it did not look like the version of events that was relayed to that evaluator was the version of events that came out at hearing testimony.
Board members, any questions? If not, is there a motion?
I move that we accept that the findings.
Second. To accept the. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, moving on.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
who was the second?
I'm sorry?
Who was the second? Oh, Mr. Rhodes.
Sorry,
Thank
second
you.
by Mr. Rice. Moving on to the case with, Carl Ruffins.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ruffins is
thank you.
here. Mr. Ruffins appealed the denial of his application for apprentice registration based on his criminal conviction history, specifically based on his 1999 conviction for second-degree murder. Following contested case hearing at the State Office of Administrative Hearings, the ALJ recommended that the board issue the registration. Mr. Ruffins was 21 years old at the time of the crime and was riding as a passenger in an automobile when the victim, Mr. Donald Reed, an unarmed stranger, approached on a bicycle and almost struck that vehicle. The car turned around and Mr. Ruffins exited the vehicle and then shot Mr. Reed several times at point blank range. Mr. Ruffins was adjudged guilty after a trial and thereafter began serving a life sentence in Angola prison in Louisiana. He was paroled in July of 2024 and will remain on parole until the year 2048. Mr. Ruffins previously applied for and was denied apprentice registration. Mr. Ruffins had some employment within the plumbing trade, but at the time of hearing, he was working as an Amazon delivery driver. The law judge seemed to be moved by the significant number of letters of support Mr. Ruffins submitted from prison staff, in addition to letters from friends, family, and employers. There were 25 in total. The judge also seemed to be moved by the amount of time since Mr. Ruffins' conviction and by evidence of rehabilitation within prison. He completed welding and plumbing vocational training in prison. He earned trustee status, which permitted him into guards' homes on prison grounds, and performed plumbing work there under a journeyman's supervision. Sometimes he worked in the presence of spouses and children. His current work as a delivery driver involves interactions with the public. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? This is our news representative like to see.
Yes, sir.
Please just state your name or begin speaking. Appreciate it.
My name is Carl Ruffins. Mr. Board Chair, board members. I would first like to apologize. That we have to be in this way. I come to a couple of these meetings. And I like a lot of these individuals that I regret. One of my colleagues. I thought I had these elders prepared. The individual I was 26 years ago, 27 years ago. I had a different way I saw life. I had a different thinking. I considered the delusional when I reflect back on it. I realized I was not just. But when I did, it took time for me to grow. I took up a lot of classes. And there was this one class that really, really stands with me. And it was victim awareness. It helped me really appreciate and understand my actions and what I cause in other people's lives. I spend a lot of my time. If I'm not trying to help somebody see not just the wrongs I created in life, but also the possible wrongs they can create in life, I try to find places I can volunteer.
If I can help, I try to help. I chose plumbing because plumbing to me is like a way that I can give that. Because I understand that a lot of people don't understand the things that are tied to plumbing in their health. When I went to plumbing school, there was a story about a young nobleman. He ended up getting typhus, if I'm correct. And so he was sick, and so people come in and they finally was able to diagnose where the problem was derived from, and it was from the plumbing system. And so he basically said this: if I had a choice to be anything in the world, if I could not be a doctor, then I would become a plumber. And those two things are quintessential to me in that sense. I want to help. I want to be able to give back. So these two align. I'm an outdoors type person in general. I like what I do or did. Because I started off, when I first got, the funny thing is, when I first got, the first job I got when I got out of prison, it took about 3 months, but I got plumbing. They gave me the opportunity to step in the doors and actually start work. The sad thing about the situation was, within a week later, I received the notes that said that I had the basic seek and desist. I was denied my apprenticeship call. The company liked my work. They liked my integrity. So they kept me on and they just moved me inside the warehouse where I mainly had a lot of dealings with material, better understanding of fittings, etc., runs of pipe, whatnot. Excuse me for that. But so during that opportunity, I had the chance to also learn and grow the individuals that's around me. And I really appreciate the guys that I worked around. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not so funny, but you learn. I felt like I was in a family. I felt like I met a place where I belonged. And I really, really appreciated that. So the new company buys them out. They liked me, but I was denied my apprenticeship card the second time I applied for it. So they let me go based on that. I ended up working for Amazon Delivery. Which I liked Amazon Delivery, except for a lot of people may not understand it. That is hard work. Believe it or not, until you get in that field, you do not understand. That is hard work. 40 packages in an hour. So it was a lot of jumping in and out of a vehicle all day long. And then I'm new to Texas, so it was a little disjunctive. It was a little too much for me. So I ended up going to work for another company after that, where I did text install, which put me back in construction, which also put me in the venue where I can do what I kind of like because I'm in the water supply lines. I'm like, okay, I can touch it, but I can't really, plumb it. So it was good experience. And then Mr. Weston, he provided me the opportunity to work with him. He's a master plumber. So I handle his material for him. And he been knowing me from day one, literally. He was very guilty. He was actually my first employee. Turn back around from that. I'm really hoping that the board will give me the opportunity just to work in the field. You can make it like with a permit. You can say, come back in 6 months, we can reevaluate you, but just give me the opportunity to prove myself. That's all I'm asking for in honesty. I'm not asking for no grand said thing where you wash everything away because I know my fact. That's a hardship to ask to anybody. No, I went on the clemency board, I went on the parole board. I had to get signed off by the government. That was a hard thing to ask from any one of them. More so, it was harder to hear his mother speak that she would give me that chance. So I know I only got like 3 to 5 minutes, so I'm gonna basically say this again. Whatever opportunity y'all provide me, my wife loves plumbing. even if it's just nothing material right now. She's hoping for something bigger. I'm hoping for something bigger. I'm hoping just to have the opportunity to add one more step that says, I overcame, I'm doing better. That's all I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reference. Ms. Norman, did you have anything for that?
No, I can't comment on his feelings. I do know that, is that Mr. Weston?
I'm with you.
Yeah, Wesley, did you testify at hearing?
I did.
Yes, I thought I saw a familiar face. Yeah, I guess, our general counsel can tell you options.
Ultimately, the proposal for decision in front of you, the administrative law judge, recommends granting of the license. You can grant a full license. There's also the opportunity for a provisional license, which would afford the opportunity to give a 6 to 12 month provisional license. Upon renewal with it, if they have no disqualifying incidents, then the applicant, then the registration holder would then renew to a unconditional, non-provisional registration.
Any questions from the board?
Say, would his hours still count though with the provisional license towards the next level?
And my understanding is, I'm looking at this, that hours never go away. You have hours, you have hours.
Is there a motion regarding this case?
Mr. Chairman, I've got to recuse myself from this case.
Okay, thank you.
Motion, I'll make the motion to accept the case results.
All right. It's a motion to accept the PFD as written.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. Ainsworth. Any discussion?
Are we going to, is it going to be part of this motion? And I think, going and having a provisional license, is it appropriate if we go forward? Does that need to be part of this motion?
Isn't that part of the PFD?
No, ultimately, the administrative law judge simply recommends granting the license. What I've heard from the motion is that you want to accept the PFD as written. And ultimately, if you are going to follow up on the motion that's been seconded, it would be for a full license, full registration.
Then, you mentioned if we go the route of the provisional registration, that if there were no disqualifying factors upon that renewal period, then it would be a full registration. What disqualifying factors would those be?
If there was some sort of additional criminal convictions or violations of the act rules of the Texas State Board of Plumbing.
Violations of parole, you say?
No, but if there were any criminal convictions or any violations of the law and rules of the Texas State Board of Plumbing examiners.
So that would be the case even on a full registration. If you were to come for renewal,
Yes.
those would still disqualify.
Yes.
So there's, in my mind, not a whole lot of difference.
I concur. Let's let it go. This way. Discussion why, and this is exactly why we have the process. And not many people make it through it, and but there's always exceptions, and I'm not sure I could find 25 people to write a letter of recommendation for me right now. So every factor that anybody could ever ask somebody for, you rehabilitate himself and turn away. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Further discussion? Again, just to clarify, the motion is to accept the PFD as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. So that concludes the enforcement department report, if I'm not mistaken. Is there anything else on enforcement?
No, sir, I don't have anything here at the moment.
Right. We want to take a break, or do we want to press on and get the information?
Short break.
Lunch is here, sir.
Lunch is here, okay.
Yes.
Let's take It's 12. Yeah, let's take a 30-minute break, so we'll come back at 10 minutes to 1. We're standing in recess till then. Is the financial department reports. And, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is item number 16A is the third quarter financial update. And on the cover page, or the first page of the report has two tables. The first table is our appropriations by appropriation type. So has our total budget for the year plus our expenditures. And then the second table has the same information, just broken out by accounting category. And so our total budget for the year is 4.775 million. And through the first 9 months of the fiscal year, we spent about 2.8 million. And that is about 59% of our budget. And so yeah, we have a few large expenditures for the last quarter, so we anticipate spending all appropriations for FY26. And just as a note, there are a few of the appropriations that we got in our supplemental appropriation in June of 2025, and those are the IT improvements, motor vehicles, and HQ expansion. And we're given 2 years to spend that money, so we can carry forward to 2027. So we feel some time to spend part of that. Are there any questions on the first page? Okay. All right. Well, the second page is our revenues for the first 9 months of the fiscal year, and so for the first 9 months of the year, exams and licensing revenue was 3.77 million, and compared to the prior year, for the first 9 months, we're up around 225,000 or 11%. And if we stay on this sort of the same trajectory, we should have our best revenue year since at least maybe 2020. So I think we're doing pretty good revenue wise. And for our civil administrative penalties, we collected around $240,000 for the fiscal year. It's compared to the previous year, we're down about 15,000 or 10%. So are there any questions on revenues? And then page three and 4 has revenues by licensee and license type. So let's cover more detail about the revenues. And are there any questions on the financial report?
Any questions from the board? I don't think so.
Okay. Well, item 16B is the state auditor's audit results. And earlier this year, we had an audit performed by the state auditor's office of our revenues and expenditures. And I thought the audit went pretty well. There's, I think, an email in your packet from the state auditor. And her comment was the Board of Plumbing Examiners had processes in place to ensure that it administers financial transactions in accordance with applicable requirements. However, the agency should approve processes related to travel reimbursement and reconcile licensing and accounting systems. So I think that first sentence kind of says a lot. Says we have processes in place to ensure that we follow all the applicable requirements. And then a couple of items we had to improve our reimbursements to employees for, I think, meals. We were using the GAO standard rates, or we should use the actual receipts. So it's just a small difference there. So we're going to adopt that method. And also reconciling our revenue, which was, it's not going to change our number. We just had to reconcile our two systems, CAPS and Personal. So overall, I think the audit went pretty well. Any other questions?
Any questions about the audit report?
On the board member reimbursements, Lisa might be able to explain it. So obviously, we're not an agency that gets reimbursed for lodging and meals.
The intent was there. It's never been written correctly within our plumbing license law. We tried to make adjustments and mirror other agencies last year or last session. It didn't get done, so we've got it on a list to get it done this session. So it should get corrected, but the intent was never for just plumbing board members to not get reimbursed. So it's there, and we had this discussion with them again as well. And we went back over all the research we've done on every single audit. It always comes up. And so we hope to get the language clarified and make it mirror other agencies. Shouldn't be, no one expects you to drive here and stay for free. So, and then like, as Dan mentioned, they want us to do like seat based on staff and do a little different there. So every audit has something.
The big expenditures coming up, the renovations to the bathroom and vehicles, stuff like that.
We've got vehicles we're about to buy. We'll encumber that money. And then we owe some to TFC that we'll be paying. We already gave them most of our money, but we've got other stuff to finish up the restrooms. We've also currently got a bid on putting some other windows back over here in this cave area so they don't feel like moles. And I'm waiting on that bid, and looks like we're gonna maybe split the difference on possibly painting the outside of the building. So we'll see what we can encumber now out of the supplemental money that we have. But we can spend some of that, like Dan said, this next year. There's a lot of money to handle and that we've had this last year. So Dan does a good job.
Any other questions from the board? All right. Next item then is the strategic plan for 2027 to 31. You see, want to go through that?
Yeah, we did a lot of work on this, just like we always do every year, but the last discussion that we had with the board is we want to keep on keeping on, basically. We can't slow down, and the industry's not gonna let us slow down because there's so much to do. And so our goal now is, to be the most and or more efficient and productive that we can. And as things have settled down with the move and getting unpacked and getting a rhythm here in this building and gathering new staff, that's our plan, and it's spelled out pretty well in here. And we have some estimates on what we expect, how we're gonna produce more plumbers and estimates on things. And we estimate all kinds of things, and you'll see them laid out in the performance measure strategies and that sort of thing. And I mentioned earlier that part of the strategic plan is the customer service. So it's kind of incorporated in that. If you see it in there twice, it's all part of it. That's where we get our ideas from. And we didn't have anything real major, but our plan is to keep doing what we do best. Plumbers, doing complaints. And I think it's interesting, the way our plan is laid out and what it says and what we do. And it was kind of interesting just to hear all the different parts of what we did today, because it just shows the efficiency and the production that we have going. So, and if anybody has any comments on that or whatever, let me know, or ideas. We submitted it in a timely manner. Our next big submittal, of course, is the LAR, the legislative appropriations request, and that's due on the 7th, which is a Friday of August. And Dan and I talked to the LBB yesterday about that. So shall I continue?
Yeah, so you might as well go ahead and go straight into it.
This one kind of rolls into that one. We certainly don't want to, I never want to be greedy, but if you don't ask for something, you won't get it. That's it's kind of like all I can do is say no. And we have been notified that the governor would like us all to pinch pennies a little bit to the tune of 3%, which, 3% can be, you can cut some stuff, and anybody can do without somewhere. We don't want to cut a whole lot of stuff because, as I said, we just now feel like we're much more productive the way we should be, and a lot of that has to do with staff. So, I certainly don't want to. I don't want to have to do with staff. One of the places that we cut 3% before was in enforcement staff. But when you take 3% out of ours, it's not that big of a drop in the bucket for them. They're looking at millions, and we don't have millions to give. So hopefully we did a good job last time, and we can show that we continue to do a good job and what a benefit it's been with what they gave us last go around. So we'll see. But with all that said, we do want to go ahead and request some additional staff, and in particular, we do have some vacancies in enforcement, but we need to always ask for additional enforcement staff, because ideally, if we get to that perfect world situation, you would have your staff somewhat divided where you're able to totally handle complaints and go out and do compliance checks at the same time, where it's hard right now with only a few people. So we would like to ask for at least 2 of those. And the way that we put all this package of stuff together for the exceptional items is, I want to make sure I do it right. Do I have? We put 24s in there so that you would be able to see what we did in 24, 25. And then the next page has 26, 27, which obviously had a huge ask on it due to the move. And then the very last page would be what 28, 29 would be that we would ask in this request that we're preparing. And so there's still facility improvements. I mentioned I'm going to try to squeeze some of those out here and cover the money, but if I don't, I've got several other plans that we hope to put into place. So we want to ask for some facility improvement monies, I think. And we would be remiss if we didn't ask for salary increases for staff. We don't want to, after we get really good people, we don't want to lose them. And I think that we'll find, and I'll talk to some other executive directors, but I think you'll find everybody's gonna, it's a standard procedure to ask for some increase in funding for salaries. We got good ones and we sure want to try to keep them. The additional staff that we were considering this time would be another examiner, another field investigator, and 2 more customer service folks. So I don't think it's totally out of the realm to ask for at least 4 or 5 more people. Of course, all that said,
Our priorities are to increase the amount of examinees we can move through the system, increase our crackdown on unlicensed activity, and improve our customer service. So those all are targeting directly our mission.
yeah. And I really hope, I mean, I can't see anything but good news that I feel like that we've got to take to the legislature this year. So, and I will tell you, we always have some kind of IT need, whether we know about it right now, whether we're planning for it, or whether it's something that occurs. We like to keep a little bit of funding available to do IT improvements. We're in the process right now of upgrading some equipment, and man, we're expecting that whenever we do this coming upgrade that we're going to do in September, it'll handle the load and just be flying with not a glitch, right?
Right.
So, and we may have to do a little bit more expansion here and there. And you got to remember too, we just keep adding extra jobs and we're squeezing people into cubby holes. And so we're going to make it happen. I'll put it that way. I want to always ask for vehicles. We're getting 2 We hope, I don't know, it could be 6, 8 months before we get the 2 that we're ordering now. And then we'll ask for 2 more, and then by then, we'll have cars that have a multitude of miles on them. And some of them don't have that many miles. I've got them all here somewhere. Some of them don't have that many miles on them, but in 2 years' time, they will. And if I were to get 2 to 3 more field investigators and or examiners, we're gonna be driving back and forth to Waco and field investigators in that area. So by then, I'll have a couple of more cars going down a little bit, so. And who knows how much they'll cost by then, but I think our estimate's close enough. And that's the number of people that we've asked for over the years there. Went back and kind of looked at the different spots. There's my cars. And the different spots as far as, I mean, just to throw this out there for informational only. In 08 and 09, we had 24 people that worked here. Can you imagine? In 2016 and 2017, we were up to 33. We were flying. I am telling you. And then we jumped up in 22 and 23 where we got 42. And so now we're at 58. So if in worst case scenario, maybe we round off at 60, I don't know, but 62 would be great. It's a lot to handle, but we're ready. And I do have the list of vehicles if anybody wanted to know what all we wanted. And last but not least, last time, I mean, I'm grateful for raises, don't get me wrong, as anybody would be. But last time, the way that we worded it, apparently we hit a snag because we did not get me moved into the right exempt group, and I should be in group 4 to get a wider range without a cap. What we got last time is we got movement, but we got a cap on it, and that was by the legislature. And so we didn't do it quite right. And we talked to the LBB about this yesterday. And so we're gonna, with your permission, attack it a little bit differently because I'm not going anywhere this year, but when I leave, you've got to have enough money to get somebody in here to do this job. You got to want to do it, and they're going to want money for it. I just take whatever I can get because I just love this job. But
How much are you gonna wanna do it?
I don't know.
My term expires in 2030. I'm obligated till then.
Don't give me bright ideas. We'll see. But we've got to be able to be covered to having something to entice someone in here that's willing to put and do the amount of work it really takes to watch everything and do it, get it done, push it. So we want to put that down. So right now, what we're looking for is, what's your blessing? Are you okay with asking? And let me back up a bit. That number 1 item up there, I put facility expansion up there. Now I had a nice visit. I want to talk about this a little bit. I had a nice visit with Will McCarroll. He graciously came by here and we ran him and drug him all through the exam center, and he and I've been talking. He's with Facilities Commission. And I think he got a good idea of what we're facing here because we've acquired some other areas that we didn't have, but we need one additional area of this big warehouse out here to actually put a shop in for us. We have no shop. We have no place to put our tools. We can examine people all day, but we need tools too. And places to press things and test them and cut them and all of that. And so I think we may work out something, but if we can't get it worked out, I think we've got to be prepared to ask for enough money to build another shop onto this building. Unless anybody's interested in moving again. I'm not either. I don't think I have anything. I think I said that the other day, kind of halfway joking, and I thought Don and GW were going to throw darts at it. But I think we need to be prepared, and we can always pull that out of our, we can put it up there with some kind of contingency or something when we prepare the LAR. And depending upon how these other negotiations go. But I think we have to be prepared to ask for some money in case we needed to build an arm onto this building back here so we can have a shop. We don't even have our med gas set up yet because we don't have this place to put it.
I was about to bring that up. We're only testing med gas in Waco, right?
That's correct. And I've got to get med gas set back up here. And I get at the block building, if you drive around the back of this building, you'll see there's a block building that's been built off the back and it's all locked up. It doesn't have an entrance from here, which that's one of the expenses we've got to do. We've got to have the saw cutters come out. We're going to open that up so we can enter it. It's built on a slope of the parking lot though, so we've got to do floor work and wall work and stuff like that. And hopefully we can get med gas going and our backflow demo and that sort of thing back up in there.
Finally have everything out of that building, the fire inspectors?
They said they did, but they haven't brought me a key yet, and I'm gonna email them back today and say, where's the key to that building? So, and then I also offered today because TFC would like to store some furniture, I understand, in what the fire marshal vacated in that caged area that we want for our shop. And I offered up our new storage building that I would trade with them. And a brand new storage building, because that's where my furniture is right now, because I don't have a place to put my furniture in here. And I'm waiting on I got these 2 rooms, we got carpet and paint and all that, so that's 4 staff we gotta get moved and furniture and all that. And we have the inmates coming back next week, I think. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So hopefully we can get that unlocked, get some inmates here, and try to move some stuff. They got trash they've got to move. But we'll see. We're working on it. But I really feel like we've got to be prepared to go to the legislature and say, hey, we don't have enough room here. We're gonna have to have money. We'll just build something off the back of this building. I don't know what else to do.
The space that we're talking about was originally promised to us when we looked at moving this.
When we originally came here, that's what I drew a sketch and I drew in all the things, all the areas that we needed. And we negotiated that we would share certain portions until such time as they were moved out. And on my sketch and on my request to them, I needed the whole place. We wanted to expand, not remain in our existing size.
Right.
And Will saw that today, and I explained that to him. I said, remember, we've been talking about additional, we've been talking about existing, and what we promised that we were gonna do to expand. So we'll see how it all comes out.
I came to this meeting prepared to say a bunch of stuff about facilities commission, but then they did send their executive director over to come check in with us and take a little interest in what we're working on. So hopefully that like the logjam.
Yeah, I think he took it upon himself and said, you know what, they got a board meeting. I'm gonna come on over, and it was good. I was very thankful for him
You
coming
definitely
over.
didn't have to do that. I appreciate that he came.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever your choices are, staff can whittle this down and send it back to you, Chairman, or whatever you want to do on this, but we've still got a little bit of calculating to do.
I myself am inclined to go with it as it looks right now. That's up to the board though. Is there a motion to consider the LAR as presented?
With permission to move your situation, I'll add that caveat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion by Mr. Ainsworth. Second by Mr. Black. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Dan and I have our work cut out for us. Whew.
Yeah.
Lisa, if I ask you a question, on the LAR, obviously, we've got a really big push for this. But from a marketing, advertising, PSA standpoint, we don't have a marketing, we can't run billboards statewide. What are our options?
We had enough money, we can put a billboard
Well,
on.
that's my point. Do we have money to do, or do we?
You know, Uh, we've looked into it before, but it was like, I mean, that was, for us, we just glanced at it because we knew it was never feasible. We can certainly look into it again.
I don't know what the best marketing strategy would have been.
There's agencies that have stuff out there, you know.
Even free, I would think that, I don't know what we got on Facebook that we could utilize or.
Well,
Does
we
they
have,
an agreement for PSAs? For
we have
media
our,
people?
I don't know of anybody that's doing any
I do know.
public
for-
service.
I do know that I heard on radio coming here, and now that TikTok is US owned, the cabinet members and the government can now open TikTok accounts. I don't know what the state's position is, but you know,
I'll look into that because
TikTok, Instagram, X, I think you get a lot more out of that than buying a billboard. Billboard's targeted to an area. X and TikTok, everybody's looking at.
And it's certainly a lot less expensive than a billboard.
It's free.
Yeah.
we'll certainly look into it, and we have kind of been watching the TikTok situation because we haven't been allowed to use it for quite some time. And it may be that everybody's gonna be excited and get to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Kevin would just love to put
Can't
something
wait.
together. And we actually stole Chris out of
You know, I mean, the
the,
algorithms and stuff, I mean,
Yeah, we
anything I look up and Google say I'm researching something, the next time I open TikTok, it's there. I mean, it's so I would definitely not want to waste the money on a billboard. When you can do all this free and it's gonna pop up on their phones automatically.
we'll look at TikTok and find out what the rules are gonna be, and we've got an extra person now to help Kevin, and we'll put some extra work on.
Are you using X or Instagram?
I mean, personally, I'm on it, but we just haven't had the bandwidth, staff wise in order to branch out, outside of Facebook. But we can talk about it, and we do have help.
I mean, I'm an old guy and I still have a Facebook account, but
No, I
the
know.
young people don't use Facebook.
Yeah, no,
X.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean,
And targeted ads, if you can't open anything up without getting 5 or 6 recommendations.
So if we had an ad budget to actually send ads out, yeah, the social media targeting is amazing. I think that'd be a great place to focus any resources that we have.
I agree.
We'll check it out and see. And if we need to add something on the list,
Well,
We're
of
checking.
course, we send these out to all of our licensees and registrants. That's 74,000 billboards running around the state of Texas right there.
Right.
We just
I
ask them
think
to
that's a
select
better
that.
use of money than buying an electronic billboard.
Yeah.
It's targeted to one geographic area.
Just real quick on that, we did a survey when we were doing the stickers, and we asked them if they would be how likely they would be to put this on a vehicle that gets, that sees traffic. And 89% said that they would absolutely 100% put it on their vehicles. So,
Get that from Ask Kevin.
no, we actually sent the survey directly out to
Yeah.
Master Plumbers. No.
but I thought that was pretty interesting, and I think what you'll find, and we've seen a few of them, I think you'll see that the plumbers that drive their personal vehicle, even though they don't want a bunch of stuff on their personal vehicle at night. But I think they'll put those higher licensed plumber on there.
I'll put one on. As soon as you get them in, let me know.
We'll make sure you get one.
They're coming in soon.
Yeah, we've already ordered them, so
Yep.
they'll be here pretty soon. We'll send them out.
I'll do next month, so I'll look for
But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to take care of. I'm ready to work on this and pin it all down. Do some final calculations, see where we're at. We'll look at our advertising budget and check what's going on with TikTok.
Okay.
Sir, am I correct that you told me, if I'm done with you voted on that, so I can move on to the next thing. That you told me you wanted me to move the October meeting down a week, is that right?
Yes, going to the future
Okay.
board meeting dates.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm,
I think I moved.
out of town. Well, it looks like that may be the new date that I've.
Yeah, I think we got it in there.
21st.
Okay.
Yeah, so they swapped mine out right before the meeting. But if y'all could plan on the 21st, that's gonna be the actual date, I think.
Okay.
So scratch through that, right, 21.
It may not have got loaded in the.
Are there any recommendations for future board meeting agenda items? Any y'all want to see us take up? Not hearing anybody clamoring for it. All right. Just real quick before we adjourn, Dawn, is there anybody else that's on that wanted to make a public comment that might not have been on earlier? Want to be sure we give everybody a chance to be heard. Okay. Well, if that's the case, we're at the end of our agenda, so we stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.